The voice of the people is ready to be heard. 2018 had a lot of top-tier Switch titles. We gave you our picks a while back, and now it's time to announce yours. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Gabe is here, and we're going over the SwitchForce community vote for Game of the Year 2018. A few weeks back, we put a big poll together and let you vote and tell us why a Switch game was your favorite for the year. And we have the results before us, Gabe. It is both surprising and unsurprising, these results here.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Smash Brothers is pretty popular, so we should probably just throw that out very quickly. Yes, Smash Brothers is unanimously the SwitchForce fan, or, I mean, what are we going to call them?
SwitchForce Community Game of the Year lines up with the SwitchForce official Game of the Year. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate takes the first spot across both categories with a whopping 64.6% of the vote. Now, there were a ton of games on this list, so a lot of titles snagged 1 or 2 votes, but some rose to the top, and none came even close to what Smash Brothers did. Like I said, 64.6% of the vote.
I'm curious, do you think that this year sees something similar where there is like one unanimous game where everybody agrees, or do you think that's just a byproduct of Smash, and not only Smash, but Smash Ultimate being what it is?
I think that Smash Ultimate, I'll go out on a limb and say this. We've been in a predictive mood lately, 2019 and beyond. I'll say that Smash Bros. Ultimate is the most unanimous game of the year of the Switch entire life cycle. I don't think it'll ever be this obvious.
Really?
I just think Smash Brothers, it's such a captivating title, it's such a nostalgic title, and what they did here, it's so hard to not be just completely enamored and completely in love with the product they put out, and deservedly so. It's so good, and the fans agreed. We had a lot of people who commented about why they loved this Smash Brothers so much. It's a lot of fun to play with your friends and family, a lot of good laughs, a lot of good fun, and that it's the best crossover ever. Someone said it's probably even better than Marvel, which I thought was kind of a fun little analogy there. All the hype building up to it was amazing. The game did not disappoint, and it is truly the ultimate Smash Bros. Now, next year, we're going to have to do a better job of probably using a different form so that we can figure out who said what, because Google did not keep track of the names of the commenters. So, sorry, we will be reading comments. Unfortunately, we don't have the names of who submitted. But thank you to everyone that participated, whether you just voted, whether you wrote in a comment, whether you wrote in a vote. Gabe, before we get to the next, the number 2 game of the year, I want to let you know there were a few write-in votes here.
Okay.
We had a write-in vote for Vose. We had a write-in vote for Octodad. We had a write-in vote for Cat Quest. We had a write-in vote for Mutant Football League.
Okay.
We even had a write-in vote for Skyrim.
All right.
Everything else, though, I guess we covered it pretty well, because we did put 80-some titles on the list. The second place title shocks me. It shocks me. Now, for us at SwitchForce, Celeste was our clear number 2, and we even had a small discussion about putting it at the top. But the community came together and said that Octopath Traveler was actually the second most voted for title, capturing 6.2% of the first place votes.
Guys, you will never know how funny it is that Octopath came in at number 2 and how Zach truly feels about it. That's not a conversation we're going to have right now. But look, I don't think it's the second best game on Switch this year. I don't think it's a top 5 game on Switch this year. But for me, at least, because I do love the genre, it's definitely a top 10 game. And I was surprised that it came in second. This isn't what I would have guessed, honestly. I would have maybe guessed Celeste or Pokemon, because I know so many people like that. But seeing Octopath come in at number 2, it shows that there is clearly an audience for things like this. And whether you like it or not, Zach, I know your answer. Square is now gonna continue to do this. That game was so successful, it sold out in other regions. It never quite sold out in America. It had a rush of support. It reviewed very well. It's sitting in like an 82 or 83 on Metacritic. It's a weird one, isn't it?
It is. It's an odd. It's not odd that it is here, I guess, because it did do a lot well. It reviewed well, and it had a real groundswell of support and just enjoyment when it released. But it's interesting to me what it usurped, what it rose above out of the other games. We've spoken many times that 2018 was a very top-heavy year, and I think the top-tier games did rise above, and then from there it gets kind of murky, and that does show up in this graph, that we do have a lot of games that got a couple of votes, and remember, this is first-place votes only, so when I say that Smash got 64.6%, it's not of the the total votes, it's just of the first-place votes, because that's all you could vote for. So it's 10 times the amount of votes that Octopath had at 6.2%, but it is odd to me that Celeste wasn't there. Celeste, honestly, came in lower. Celeste came in in 4th place, but let's get to 3rd place, which was Pokemon Let's Go at 5.4%. So just a smidge below Octopath Traveler. That one makes a lot of sense to me. It's not everyone's favorite Pokemon game. We're eagerly anticipating Gen 8, but it still was a great time to get a good Pokemon game, a nostalgic Pokemon game on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, but the game being as divisive as it is, and seeing the hardcore fans say, hey, we're not even going to support this, we'll be there for the next one, but this one just isn't for us. I'm surprised that it even still cracked like the top 5, but I mean, good on them. I'm honestly glad Octopath beat it though, just because that's a brand new experience, and Pokemon it's a rehash. So, yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, we had some people saying full of nostalgia for the older generation of Pokemon players. Pokemon Let's Go is my all-time favorite video game franchise. I thought they were about to say all-time favorite Pokemon game. I got a little nervous there. Beautiful graphics and nostalgia for a franchise I played for 2 decades. Pokemon Let's Go because who doesn't love a good Pokemon game? Seriously. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu because nostalgia and new features. So there was some substantial love for Pokemon. From there, we do go to Celeste, as I mentioned. To me, it's sad that it's in the 4th spot, but maybe being indie had something to do with it. A few comments there. Celeste because of its gameplay and great story. The game not only plays phenomenally, but it really connects to me on a personable level. One of the most relatable games I've ever played. Celeste because it is perfect in almost every way. Its soundtrack is emotional. I like that comment. Celeste because I love how the game touches on the depression theme. Celeste is probably the best game overall on Switch. It honestly was a game that I thought I would only play once, but yet I find myself wanting to come back and play more to beat those hard chapters. That's a good thought. I'm excited to go back and see what new levels they add this year. That's supposed to be coming soon.
Yeah.
From here, Gabe, though, things get real interesting to me, because our number 3 game for 2018 was Mario Tennis Aces, and Mario Tennis Aces did not get a lot of love. It only had 7 votes total. It was nowhere near the top, and in fact, it was beat 4 times over by Super Mario Party. That's one of the interesting narratives out of this community vote, is that Super Mario Party was 4 times the choice of Mario Tennis Aces, which to me is shocking.
But you also got to remember, you and I are very competitive, and not everybody's like that. Some people just want to have a good time with their families, and not that we don't do that. But for me, Mario Tennis was able to resonate just because I dove into that multiplayer, the online multiplayer, the tournaments so hard. I played a lot of hours of that, so that's why I enjoyed the experience as much as I did. So yeah, I'm honestly surprised by it too, though. You said 7 times the vote.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, 4 times.
Oh,
the vote.
4
times the vote.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And the comments definitely echo what you're saying. Super Mario Party because my family and I could all play it together. Mario Party because it brought me and my family together. Super Mario Party, the reason being is it does exactly what Nintendo has always intended to do: bring friends, family, and strangers together to laugh and have fun. Mario Party because it's so user friendly. The one that has me just scratching my head though is someone voted for Super Mario Party, but their comment was Mario Tennis Aces. So we'll take that one.
Yeah.
With a grain of salt there, but interesting to note. Also interesting to note, Hollow Knight wasn't that far behind Celeste. Celeste came in with 3.2%. Hollow Knight grabbed 2.9%. I think that game is safely establishing itself as one of the top indie titles and basically one of the top Switch titles. We gotta dive deeper into that one in 2019, Gabe.
Yeah, I want to. I've started it, but there's some other indie games on the horizon that are new that I'm very excited about that I've started playing. We'll talk about those at a later time. But yeah, Hollow Knight clearly has the hearts of the people. It reviewed very well. For me, the only little thing I would criticize it for, and it's not the game's fault, is I don't like it that it's like a little bit of a re-release because it's been available on other platforms. Like that to me, like, I'm starting to get bummed out by that a little bit, guys. Just like give us all the platforms day and day. I mean, I get it, but yeah, that's the one little thing that I'm not into.
Bayonetta 2+1 and Undertale both came in with 1.1% of the vote. And remember, these percentages are so low because there were 80 choices. So divvying that all up, especially when Smash Bros. Takes 64.6%, you're going to have small numbers, but still substantial vote count. One that was interesting is that Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Path of Torna, which or Torna the Golden Country.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what path this is you're talking about.
It's the path to a game we weren't sure if we should include, given it's an expansion, but we did put it on there, and it got 2.1%. It's not that far off from Hollow Knight, honestly, which is very interesting to see the love for that title continuing on into another year.
Yeah, some of the people are saying it's almost an entirely new game, that it brought back a battle system and improved on it. There's new characters, amazing music, cool story. The one thing about the Golden Country that I found fascinating is that it's Xenoblade, but it's a little bit shorter, so it's more digestible to people. So I just wonder if it's just more, I don't want to say casual, because it's more welcoming to new players, just because it's not as big an experience. It is still quite sizable, but it is an expansion. It's not like a full game, even though they do sell it like standalone as well.
Their expansion, though, is just as long or longer than most of the games on this list.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Getting plenty of content. Fortnite and Dead Cells both came in with 1% of the vote, which is interesting. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze grabbed a couple of nominations as well. Again, plenty of titles got a few, but it was interesting to see that Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and Kirby Star Allies were all at the same amount of votes. So all three of those games managed to get a couple of nominations, but not too many. Some interesting ones. Starlink, Gabe, got more votes than any of the aforementioned titles, any of the Nintendo titles that I just mentioned.
Starlink is kind of a underrated game. Like, the game plays well, and the story, while skewing a little bit younger, is still like really cool, honestly. So, I mean, I can see why there's love for Starlink. I don't begrudge that in any way.
I was surprised that Tropical Freeze didn't get more votes, especially from new players, just because it is so darn good. I understand for Wii U owners why it wouldn't, take a Game of the Year spot. A lot of games got just a single vote, and enough, there's nothing wrong with that, but games like Wizard of Legend and games like Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy managed to capture one vote. Overcooked 2, I thought would get more. Overcooked 2 was tied with Mario Tennis Aces, which I was hoping that both of those titles would get a little bit more love, especially since they did get more love from our list. It's very interesting just to see when you take a whole bunch of responses, feedback, of votes into one, what kind of rises and what falls. Wolfenstein 2 was another one. Half the votes of Mario Tennis Aces and Overcooked 2. I figured that one would have got a little bit more love, being sort of the best FPS on the platform and doing such a good job of translating a really graphically intense, fast-paced experience to Switch.
Yeah, people clearly want to see more big AAA shooters on Nintendo Switch, and Wolfenstein does it very well. If other companies could emulate what Panic Button did here, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would have loved to see more, because the people that liked Wolfenstein said, it's a AAA first-person shooter. We need more of those on the Switch. Wolfenstein 2, seeing a game that beautiful on the Switch and running so smooth is truly amazing, which I think it is as well. Anything else of note on this list that stood out to you?
I mean, I was surprised Valkyria Chronicles 4 got, the votes that it did. And other than that, though, I'm honestly surprised that Smash didn't get a bigger piece of the pie.
Really?
I thought it was going to be like 80% Smash, honestly. I mean, 64 is still up there. I mean, there were some mentions for like some not obscure, but like Attack on Titan 2. I don't know. I mean, you and I didn't play that. There's so many like little things that people still mention. So I was happy to see the variety of games that people enjoy.
Indeed. Yeah.
Ys 8 got mentioned some too. So, yeah.
All right, we have to talk about this one. We've tried to delay, but it needs to be discussed. Community, fan base, audience, we need to have a little heart-to-heart. So make sure your headphones are in. Stop eating. Stop fidgeting. Put down your phone. Who are the 6 people that voted for Payday 2 as Game of the Year? who are the 6 of you that picked Payday 2 as your Switch Game of the Year?
They're clearly trolling, but
you think it's jokes?
Yeah, of course.
Are you sure it's not hardcore Payday fans that are playing through every mission and dominating those robberies?
Nah, it's just some little trolls.
On the go.
It's all good. Y'all can troll a little bit. It's okay. We see you.
6 votes for Payday 2. How interesting. No, it's intriguing all around, and we definitely appreciate all of you that voted and wrote in and were a part of this. It was really fun. Like I said, we're going to find a bigger and better way to do it for 2019, and I really think that this graph, these pieces of the pie, Gabe, they're going to be more even. This isn't going to be just one gargantuan piece and then a little tiny slivers. I think if the games come out that are supposed to come out, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, I think we're going to see a nice, pretty even split, I believe, by the end of 2019.
No, man, Fire Emblem's going to have like 98% of the puzzle, and the other 5 games that get released can have the 2%.
I think that, you know, it's like I said, Smash Brothers is one of a kind, and even when Mario Kart comes out, even though that game is beloved and played with insane replayability, even the next Zelda, I don't think that there is the universal appeal of Smash Brothers, especially what they did this year and how much of the year it was the centerpiece of the Nintendo Switch's marketing, of their presentations, of just gaming mindshare. I don't think anything like this happens ever again on the Switch. So that is 2018, the community game of the year, unanimously Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but a lot of other interesting factors and nominations and interesting picks as well. Let us know what you think will be the 2019 game of the year in the comments down below. That's what I want to hear from you now. We got all your results from 2018. What do you think is going to take the cake in 2019? And do you think it will be more even like we're predicting, or do you think something is going to run away once again? Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the channel in 2018 and for participating in our game of the year. We cannot wait to do it bigger and better next year. We got solid 300 and 50 some days to go, but we'll get there sooner than later. Until that time, everybody have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from the Switch and its games. 2019 is going to be a good one, and we can't wait to share it with you. So for myself and Gabe, thanks again. SwitchForce out.